Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Women Oracle and Tarot. And today I am bringing you a pick a card reading on your particular set of skills, your talents and genius. So what you're meant to do, what you're meant to share. I'd like to even get some kind of deck, if you know of one, let me know, that can really point out specific roles and professions and careers. I know there is an archetype deck, so do let me know if you have any awareness around that. Eventually, I'd like to create an Amazon wish list like some of the other readers on YouTube. For now, we're talking about your particular set of skills. We're going to do it my way. So, of course, if you find that you like this reading, as always, I invite you to like, to subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new video pops up. And then if you want to get to know more about me, my work, how I can support you, you can check out those details below or at erritygreen.com, where I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life and business. And last but not least, I do have a new YouTube channel out. You can check it out below. It's called Psychic True Crime. This is mostly a fun endeavor for me, although obviously serious when we're talking about the topics that we are. But if this is something that intrigues you, I encourage you to check it out below and join me over there as well. So I will go ahead and place a picture up of your 4 card piles to choose from today. As always, you're choosing from left to right. Card pile 1, your particular set of skills. If you guys know the movie Liam Neeson, Taken, I believe that's where that reference is from. And I was lying in bed last night and it was like, your particular set of skills. So this is your video. This is what you get. All right, your particular set of skills. All right, so I feel like you have a ferocity to you, a fierceness, a level of homie don't play, a level of you will forge the path. You will do what you must do. You will fight for what you must. You will do whatever it is that you know needs to be done is required. Does that make any sense? I feel like I really messed that up. But at the end of the day, what I mean by that is you will do what must be done, right? This is kind of like that warrior energy, that fierceness, that no matter what happens, I will step into the ring and I will do what must be done. Whether it's fighting for a cause, activism, fighting for yourself, for your family, for what you believe in, you're definitely a fighter. There's something here too about, I feel like you're able to sort of slay conditioning. So if there's anything in the way of what you desire, what you value, what you dream of, even what you want for other people, because there is a flavor of activism to this. There is something about a cause here. There's a flavor of really wanting equality and justice for all. You're the type of person that can slay that conditioning, cultural or societal conditioning that might tell us that certain societal rules or customs they're just normal, they're okay. You're like, this is just the way that it's done. The status quo, we're just going to keep doing it because everyone's been doing it. Jump off the bridge because we said so. You're like, no. You're not someone who's just going to take no for an answer. You're not someone who's going to trust something just because it's said to you or told to you. You're probably someone who defies authority. You're probably someone who rebels against the status quo and conformity. You're probably someone who oftentimes we could say stands alone. Not that you're literally alone, but oftentimes figuratively alone in your opinions and your ideals and what you believe is right and what is important to you. I find that if you do have friends or like close-knit friends, people you consider soul tribe, soul family, soul community, that isn't just someone you were, born into a relationship with like a cousin, that they are probably going to be people who might also be considered a rebel, a hippie, on the fringe of society, alternative, open-minded. You're going to find friendship and relationship and community in people who think and believe similarly to you do. To the way that you do. I feel like I can't talk today. What is the deal? I mean, I did meditate for an hour before this, almost an hour, so excuse me. Forgive me, rather. But I feel like you're going to find friendship and community in the people who think like you do. There was something else there that I wanted to share with you, though. you might find that anyone who is of regular mind, we'll put that in quotes, or of societal norms, or just very traditional or customary, you probably aren't going to get along with. So even expecting that from yourself should be something that you don't expect. Just let that go. You're going to find belonging more so in, dare I say, the misfits, but the people who, again, don't agree or fall in line to the societal norms, or what everybody does just because they do it, or what the government says because it says so. You're just not that kind of person. So just to start, your particular set of skills is that you can see through bullshit. You can sort of pierce the veil of truth. You're able to see lies for what they are, falsehood for what it is, illusion for what it is. You're able to see things based on their actual integral truth, like their actual nature. So, right, if we say that spirit, will say, is like the blueprint for truth, if there is a truth, right? If you see something in 3D that doesn't align with that, like the principle or belief that someone is not equal, or someone is inferior to someone else, you're going to call bullshit. So you are someone who is a very clear truth detector / lie detector. I feel like you're someone who could be very good at being a detective or investigator. Not that you have to go down that road. Again, you're kind of like the freedom fighter. You're the Braveheart warrior. You're Joan of Arc. You're the one who will fight for truth, fight for justice, equality, what you believe in, principle at all costs, principle above all costs. You're someone who's not going to, again, take no for an answer or accept the pill. Or maybe the other things, if you catch my drift, that society is doing these days. So these are your particular set of skills. You are a warrior, and I even feel like for some of you in past lives, if you subscribe to that belief or believe in reincarnation at all, that you very much were warriors, and this is something that you have carried with you, this sort of like nobility or honor or just upholding truth, that you'll be the one who will volunteer for that, that you'll be the one to go out in the battlefield no matter what, again, above all costs, or no matter the cost, that you're willing to fight for what's right. So you're very much someone who's principled. You are strongly convicted. You are someone who has strong morals, ethics, values. You're probably someone who isn't persuaded very easily, or swayed into a decision, or influenced, overly impressionable. You're probably someone who very much stands firm in who they are and what they believe in. And again, that can be very scary and intimidating for people and for society at large. So you're probably someone who often, again, stands alone. And you're going to find friendship, because I think some of you do seek this. You want like true blood friendships, and you really want loyalty and connection and just real solid bonds and connections. You're going to find that in the sort of wallflowers of society. You're going to find that in the other alternative path people, like-minded, open-minded people. If you haven't found your soul tribe, soul community yet, start looking in sort of the corners of society. Online is a great place, and it's very easy to find people that are of your like mindset, because everyone else will unfriend you. So that's pretty easy to do online. But even in person, it probably isn't going to be like your standard issue. Oh, I found my friends at college or at the bar. It might be, at the local eco village or eco village, where we hung out and went to like a vegan breakfast. Not saying that all of you guys are going to subscribe to that or do that thing or like that thing, but I'm saying it's going to be like an off the wall thing. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Your particular set of skills. I actually feel like you're an incredible manifester. So you're someone who, again, you fight for what you believe in. You're going to create what you say you're going to create. Like, you're going to do what you said you were going to do. Like, you're going to follow through. You're going to achieve it. It doesn't matter what obstacles come up. It doesn't matter what is required of you. You're going to do the damn thing. This is very similar to what we said before, but I feel like there's a spiritual quality to it, such that you're very, very powerful. We're all innately powerful. We're all inherently powerful, but I feel like you recognize your power. And you're not going to compromise on that. And you're not going to settle for less. Crumbs aren't going to be enough, and certainly not when it comes to your dream, which your personal dream feels like it's very much tied up with, connected to, tethered with the larger vision, the common dream, the universal dream, right? Of equality, justice, of new earth, whatever it is that we all sort of dream of. I feel like there is this universal common dream, even maybe something that's more subconscious for all of us, that we're all striving toward, right? That we're all connected to, that we're all evolving into, whether we know it or not. And I feel like you're the type of person who's connected to that dream. Like your personal dream might be important to you, but it's almost like irrelevant because it's a part of the larger dream, the larger template, the larger blueprint. And that's really where your like value lies, where your heart is. That's what you care for. That's what you care about. Again, nothing less. You're not settling for less, but the big dream for one and for all kind of thing. And again, I feel like this has to do with your spiritual nature. Now, this is something you might not even know about yourself, but you can secure abundance relatively easily. It's just a matter of listening to yourself, right? And honoring yourself. So if you say, I want to do this, or I want to create that, or I want to achieve this, just doing it. First of all, believing it, knowing that you can do it, which all of you, I feel like, know this. If you're in card pile 1, like this is, elementary for you. Like, yes, of course, I know I can achieve that. But if for any reason you're not quite like 100% anchored into that, I want you to know that you can create whatever the heck you want. And you're actually meant to. And it's because you are connected to the one for all. You are connected to this new dream. You are connected to something that matters for everybody, matters for people and for planet. You're someone, again, who is very much connected to divine will. And that's where I feel like part of that spiritual nature of this is, where because you are doing God's work, we're going to put that in quotes, but this is cosmos, higher power, great spirit, universe, Father God, whatever you call it. Because you are connected to God's work and you're doing God's work, you are going to be provided with everything you must be provided with. So really it's just a matter of you getting behind yourself and believing in yourself and trusting in yourself and taking the necessary action to get there. Because it's almost like for card pile 1, harvest, abundance, prosperity is a guarantee. And here's the thing. The irony of it too is, even if it wasn't, which it will be, and I feel like that's what's being assured here, you're not going to settle for anything less, right? You won't settle for anything less than the big dream. And so part of your talent, genius, skill set is following through on what you say, achieving what you say you're going to create, doing what you said you would do or what you came here for. Like, you ain't messing around. You are here and you're on a mission, and all of that is getting done, and there ain't any qualms, questions, reservations about it. Like, it's such a powerful attitude and conviction. Now, not all of you right now may not be connected to this within you. I feel like you have been at different times, but I do feel like a small minority, like maybe 30% or something, could be less than that, but that's what feels most relevant. That you might be a little bit disconnected from this. Maybe you had a few, extra hits and you just haven't gotten up yet from kind of being in the ring and maybe a little battle weary and there for too long. This is always here when you're ready. You don't always have to be on the battleground. You don't always have to be in the ring. You don't always have to be winning and doing the things. But this is your, this is your truth. This is who you are. So it's something to embrace, and it's something to remember and return to, that anytime you want to pick up the armor again, and you want to go to bat and you want to go into the ring, or you want to fight for something or create something or achieve something, you have God's backing. You have not only the permission, but the backing and more or less the security, the support, whatever it is required for you to achieve this. And you're not alone. You will always be supported. So it's a matter of you saying yes to the support that comes to you, because you're the type of person that might be like, no, I can take care of this myself, or let me be the lone martyr or the lone ranger. Say yes to the people who want to join you. They will join you. In fact, you are someone who can build movements, build causes, again, freedom fighter, but you're someone who can, you are the modern day kind of Martin Luther King, or those kinds of people that just with their voice and their conviction, their values, who they were, what they stood for, they were able to amass incredible global worldwide support. Doesn't mean that they also didn't stand alone, because we know very well that a lot of the speakers and the truth speakers and the people who led movements like that, they weren't always loved by everybody, and some of them obviously were killed. And that's why we said earlier, you might oftentimes, at least figuratively, stand alone, but you can amass movements, if not global movements, to achieve what you came here to achieve, especially because, again, it's not just you focused, solely you focused, ego focused. This is a bigger dream, and this is what wants to come through for one and for all. And so you're very much connected to that. Abundance is secured for you, and this fighter, warrior is always here and available for you to achieve whatever it is that you seek to achieve. 1 minute here. So what is your talent, your genius, your particular set of skills? Okay, so there is some advice here. So we already got what your talent, your genius, or skill set is. A warrior, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. You're not only given the permission, but the provision to be able to create and achieve and manifest or build whatever it is that you came here to build. You can amass global support if you so choose. That anything you put your mind to will, without doubt, be created, and it is already accounted for. It's written in the Akashic of the future, like it's already done, signed, sealed, and delivered. So there's that. That's power. That's manifestation. I mean, that's profound work. This is your soul's mission. This is a part of your blood. It's part of who you are, your soul's purpose, your soul's path and mission. But here's the thing. You might be someone who gets caught up in your mind where I feel like you might self-doubt despite how much power you have. Like, even though you have so much power and such incredible vision and such incredible conviction, you are someone, it feels like the most relevant or most powerful enemy for you. Your greatest villain isn't a person. Your kryptonite is not another person. It's your mind. And so card pile 1, you're being asked to be aware of that and recognize that, of course, your mind isn't always going to have the truth or your best interest in store. So card pile 1, for being someone with all these gifts and talents and genius and skills, you're someone who might also suffer from some kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, I've been struggling to get it out, because it's not mental illness. That might be the case for some of you. But if it just feels like an overactive mind, a mind that tells you untruths, a mind that tells you falsehood, a mind that tells you lies, a mind that gets in the way of your mission, a mind that gets in the way of your vision, a mind that gets in the way of what you came here for, because it tells you lies. It kind of feeds you little stories, right? Like the angel and the devil on the shoulder, or the serpent who's like slithering in your ear and telling you lies. You're being given this awareness so you can recognize that that is not true. That's not the truth of you. I do want to sit with it though, and perhaps there's more here. It could just be a simple message of awareness, but I do want to see if there's more here. Yeah, it's trusting the feeling, trusting the instinct, trusting the gut, trusting what's inside before there's any thought, commentary, second guessing, reservation, doubts, any of that stuff. It's trusting what you already know to be true, you know? So in any kind of situation where you feel like you might be maybe veering off course or not feeling like this warrior like we talked about, or again, maybe you're doubting yourself, you're lacking confidence, you're lacking self-esteem, you can no longer find this person within you. If you're finding that you're not able to secure the results and the outcomes that you once could, or that it's not happening for you now, and it's sort of, you might be again battle weary or whatever, and kind of taking a break, or clocked out for a little while, missing an action. It's asking you to take a look at how your mind has maybe thrown you off, or knocked you off center, or told you untruths that might have led you here, or continue to perpetuate you being in a place of feeling stagnant and incapable and incompetent and not quite in your fullest alignment and conviction. Because you're being told that this is something that you might not be able to get your vision or your mission from anybody else. There might not be any feedback or validation or acknowledgement out there about who you are and what you came here for and what you came here to do. You're going to have to rely on yourself, trusting your instinct, trusting your intuition, trusting what you know to be true. So there's almost this question of always tapping into your deep inner knowing, like no matter what your mind says, asking yourself, well, what do I know to be true? Or what is my deepest inner knowing about this? And that's going to give you the clarity, the truth that you seek, or at least that which is missing in the moment. So card pile 1, this is your reading. I'm going to go ahead and sum up for you. I think I already did that, so I won't stick around with another summary for too long, but you're a warrior. You're here to accomplish everything that you say you will, that you came here for. You will be the one to do all the things that you said you were going to do. This is your spiritual purpose and mission. You might very well have been a warrior in many lifetimes past. This is something that is very important to you, something you very much identify with, something your soul is very happy about. This isn't something to necessarily defy or look down upon or frown upon. This is a part of who you are. This is something to be celebrated. This is a gift, a talent, a genius. Remember, you can see truth and tell what falsehood is, and you might even have to stand alone, but your number one kryptonite is going to be your mind. So be aware of that and know that you are always fully trusted, supported, and provided for by the divine to carry out your mission, your quests, and any adventure that you seek, as well as any abundance. So card pile 1, that was your reading. If you found that you enjoyed this reading, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. And then if you want to get to know more about me and my work, you can check out the details below or visit erritygreen.com, where I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in life and business. And of course, Psychic True Crime is also out. It's my newest YouTube channel. You can check that out below. Thank you, card pile 1. Okay, card pile 2. Card pile 2. Oh, I just kicked the card deck across. Let's try this again. Card pile 2. So your talent, your genius, your particular set of skills. Let's talk about you. Okay, I feel like you are sort of like a soul deep healer. I feel like you can hold incredible space, profound space. You might not even know this. I feel like it's just a part of who you are. And of course, that's going to be the case for all of these piles. It's just something that you naturally exude and embody. I mean, you don't have to try for this. It's just a part of what you were born with, who you are. There's this beautiful sort of feminine energy, yin energy. You don't have to align with that or subscribe to that. I'm just trying to give some quality, some flavor, some description to this energy because it feels deep, like soul deep, feels like a deep dive, and it feels like an incredible ability to hold space for people, whether that's through like personal transformation, personal discovery, personal healing, growth work. It's almost like you can hold the space or the container for people to grow, to develop, to flower, to blossom, to flourish, to mature. There's something really beautiful about the space that you hold, just being present for people and being available for people. This might be something that you do currently, professionally. You don't have to. Again, this is something that you're born with. It happens regardless, but you could choose to be a therapist or a counselor or a mentor or a teacher or a guide or someone who holds space for people to grow, to change, to transform. If you find that you're not in a career yet or undecided, this might be something that you seek out, but you are someone who might very well be in the helping professions or a service-based profession. And again, this is something that's natural to you. This isn't something you have to do, right? This is the energy of sort of the medicine man, medicine woman of the tribe, or the wise woman, wise man of the tribe. But you're definitely someone who can hold space for people to grow, to heal, to come into their own, becoming and their own being. Now, this energy feels very sort of nourishing and nurturing and emotional and Cancerian in nature, if you're familiar with the zodiac and the energy of Cancer. So it feels like very nourishing, that someone can feel held when they're with you. They can feel home when they're with you. And they just really feel seen. You know, they feel heard, they feel true, they feel validated, and you support people to heal, to come into wholeness, to integrate, to come into all that they are, their own actualization, their own evolution, their fullest, most authentic expression. So this is a part of your skill set. This is your talent, genius. And it's interesting so far that it's very much focused on other people. But I imagine a lot of the spiritual gifts or sort of talent and skill set readings that we do, it tends to focus around contribution, what we can do for other people, right? What our service is, our contribution. So that may be the case for each of these piles. We have beautiful yin, feminine energy that can really support people. It feels like a womb space, really. So in a womb, what happens? You know, a baby grows, they can grow arms and legs and a heartbeat and all these things, and they come into full maturation just by being held in this space. And I feel like you do that. And you probably wouldn't even have to, well, I know not probably, you wouldn't even have to say anything, just being around people and supporting them. I feel like your energy does it alone. Obviously, if you're in a profession or career or a formal role, there's definitely some talking and some interaction, but this is just who you are, what you embody, showing up in the world. It's a beautiful, deep yin, Cancerian energy. Okay, so what I'm getting here though, interestingly enough, so remember how we opened with, and I was talking about this could be something that you do in a helping profession or a service-based role. And what I'm seeing here though is maybe this is something that you either take for granted or haven't fully realized or noticed within yourself, or haven't valued well enough to be able to step into a greater service-based role. Because right here it's saying, you know, there's this longing or even postponement of stepping into the fullest expression that is you, is stepping into this healing work, stepping into your, because again, this is like a spiritual healer in some ways. You don't have to identify as that or subscribe to that or label or define it that way. But ultimately that's what you're doing at the deepest level. It's a spiritual guide, a spiritual healer. And so perhaps that's very difficult for you to grasp, digest, swallow, so you're unable to fully recognize the value and impact of your work. So you are delaying stepping into this. But card pile 2, it's interesting because I thought we would stick on just your talents and genius and skill set, but so far each of the piles have also had some advice or something to be aware of. And it's showing here that there's been some postponement, that perhaps you haven't fully stepped into all that you are. You haven't fully come into knowing of all that you are and allowed yourself to be fully expressed in the world. So one way or the other, you might be delaying this or postponing this. And of course, if that's being brought up, it might be worthwhile to explore why you're postponing this and perhaps make a decision to no longer postpone it. Of course, if it feels right and true for you. I am feeling again that energy of sort of this higher spiritual order or this ancient spiritual knowing or healing gift or whatever, such that you might identify as a star seed. That isn't something that you have to identify with or subscribe to or believe in. It's not like I feel it incredibly strongly to where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the star seed pile, but for some of you, I feel like that'll land and be relevant for you. Sorry, my camera's messing up. And so that might be relevant too, and you might even realize and recognize that this skill set is from either many lifetimes, if you subscribe to that, and or another planet, and or it kind of has the energy of like the village oracle, or the medicine man or woman, where people went to you for support, for spiritual guidance, for healing, for help, whatever that is, right? It can take many forms. Let's see what else we have here. Your talents and your genius. I want to sit with these cards for a moment. Might even ask for a clarifier. Just give me a moment. It's funny because I wanted to use the mermaid deck today, but I was drawn to another card pile. Yeah. So I feel like your energy, this is actually perfect in describing it. I'm not seeing this the way that it's talking about. It says mother healing. You are, so this card, I read intuitively, so I don't read based on like what the card says, very rarely. However, oh my gosh, I have to yawn. It is by no surprise to me that I am yawning on the mother healing maternal energy card pile. But I feel like you offer this maternal kind of energy, the maternal healing, like you show up with that energy, man or woman, right? So if you're on here and you're a man and you're like, oh, that sucks, like, I don't mean maternal healing or whatever. I don't think you'd be like that, but I want to let you know that this is for you. Like, this is your gift, whether or not it subscribes to modern day ideals or, societal norms or whatever. You have that maternal energy about you. And I think if you do identify as male and you have this maternal energy, I'm pretty sure you're well aware of it. Again, you might be a Cancer, another water sign, somebody who's very nurturing and supportive and can offer just a wide open heart and hold space for people. But again, you have this beautiful maternal energy, and I feel like, again, you can support people to heal and to grow with that. And it's so interesting that it came up to be this maternal energy because, again, we talked about the womb, and what this reminds me of is, mothers hold space more or less, for their children to grow throughout all these years, grow physically, but also psychologically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's what we do as mothers, just holding space for these children to grow and nurturing mostly the context, of the home, of the environment, of their world, to support them to actualize and grow to their fullest potential. And whether you do that in a parenting role or not, you're able to, again, like the microcosm of that is working with people for probably a shorter amount of time than mother, which is a whole lifetime. But again, you're able to nurture and support people to grow and mature, and they naturally come into their fullest expression or actualization. And I think that was part of it too, is like this natural unfolding, because just like with parenting, you don't have to force a child to grow. Like, it just happens. You're not having to really do anything but just show up every day and nurture the environment and do the thing. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, they're 18, or oh my gosh, they're getting married, or oh my gosh, they're 40. So I feel like, again, that's how you show up to your work. It's just a natural byproduct of you. Let's see what else here. So I feel like you're very much connected to nature. I feel like you're very much connected to the earth and its seasons. If you find that this hasn't been true for you just yet, or you haven't developed that deep connection or bond with Mother Earth or with nature, I would encourage you, based on this reading anyway, and if it feels right and true for you, to spend more time outside, or finding the places and activities outside or in nature that really move you, right? That really nurture you, because you'll need nurturing too. And maybe that's part of the message as well, that you'll require nurturing. So to do this work, I feel like you'll probably get most of your nurturing from Spirit, Father God, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. You'll probably get most fueled or reinvigorated or nourished or spiritually supported through more of these higher power agents. You might not be able to find it from other humans. I don't know if anyone, like, I don't want to say it like this, but this is kind of like the how do I say it? There's this saying, it's lonely at the top. And that's not even what's being mentioned for your reading, but that's the message that comes up for me, Errity, myself, what comes up for me. And what I mean by that is, you're probably someone who finds few people who are at your level, or who are as quote unquote advanced as you are, or who can hold a level of space as profoundly as you do. So these of course this is more for the people who have pretty much owned it, and owned this gift, and owned this talent, owned this genius. And then for those of you who haven't, know that in the future, it might be rare for you to find your mentor or your teacher. They will come, and that feels quite relevant. You'll have some, and especially when necessary, and especially when you ask or you seek it out. However, it feels like your biggest nurturing, your biggest form or source of nourishment is going to come from God, Great Spirit, higher power, cosmos, universe, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. It's plugging in directly to the source. So it's like you're fueled by Spirit, and then you go out here and you do the work of God. You do the work of the Mother, whatever you align with or subscribe to. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, so you're a part of bringing forth this divine feminine awakening through the energy that you embody and carry, and part of your soul's path and mission is coming here to create this new earth. And we got a little bit of a flavor in that, but totally different, much more divine masculine, card pile 1. But card pile 2 is about this divine feminine awakening, about this nurturing, nourishing, emotional energy, this awakening of the heart, of the open heart. And I feel like you are here to bring forth that shift, that change, that transformation. It feels like at an individual level, supporting people to find it within themselves. But I feel like even you, just your embodiment alone, as you are, just as you are showing up in the world, you are the divine feminine awakening. You are the divine feminine embodiment. You are the divine feminine healing. Like, you are bringing that forth just by being you. And it was part of your soul's path and purpose. It was to be here and to hold this energy, and to offer this sort of other perspective, or we could say polarity, although that doesn't match or land as much as I would like it to for this particular reading. But it's like you are here to sort of balance the scales and bring about a new perspective, a new paradigm, a new way of being. And it's all through embodiment and sharing and love and intimacy and connection and communion and community and soul tribe, just these beautiful maternal feminine values. You are here to be that, to own that, to represent that, to share that. And within that, you help people heal, help people grow, help people mature. Let's see if there's anything else that wants to be brought forth here. Really trusting this as your gift. And again, we got the postponement earlier. So whether or not you've actually postponed it, or haven't stepped into it yet and haven't recognized the value of it, it's trusting yourself. There's something here about not fully trusting your gift, not fully trusting your path, not fully trusting like the entirety or the profoundness of your value, of your impact, of your gift. And it's like that's the biggest hurdle for you to jump or to leap in order to master this and just be this and embody this. And what wants to come through from Spirit right now is a lot of you might be challenged to own this, because a part of your reasoning might be this, not desire for humility, but you don't find arrogance to be necessary, right? So it's like you don't really find it necessary to have to fully own and master this. Like, you're like, where's the value in that? Because that again, that feminine energy of just being yourself and the humility of it all, you might not even value that. And yet, what it's saying here is for you to fully embody this, for you to more or less do what you came here for, to be what you already are, but to do it to the level of potency and profoundness that you can, you do have to own it and value it. So you're being asked to truly see it for what it is, to truly see yourself for what it is, to truly see the feminine energy and its offering, its gifts, its contribution for what it is, which might defy societal ideals and societal customs and our cultural conditioning that says everything's profit and productivity and external, and it's all physical, tangible results, and it has to be something that's shiny and in your face and flashy as fuck and all that stuff, right? And I don't necessarily think that you believe that. I think you very much have this quiet awareness and conviction that you know that that's total BS. And yet, in a world that tells you that, and like that's all it is, like in your face all the time, it can be still difficult to truly own the value of a gift that you have that's very quiet. You know, the divine feminine and its impact in the world is relatively quiet as compared to the masculine impact. The masculine impact is loud, it's in your face, it's getting done, it's big, it's bold, it's happening, it's outrageous, it's next level, it's bringing people to the next level, right? All that stuff we see all over the internet and all over marketing. Okay, see that's plastered everywhere. And so the feminine energy is much more quiet, right? It just embodies, it exudes, it shows up, it just is. And so for someone like you who is so this and identified with this, it can be very difficult to be like, okay, to fully own and see its value and impact when, again, it's a quiet impact, more so than the loud, bold, in your face impact of the masculine energy. So you're being asked to recognize the quiet impact. And I feel like the thread here that might support you in seeing that, and I feel like you maybe even explored this at some level, but is the recognition that, you know, spirit itself in this dimension is unseen. You know, it's quiet, it's invisible. We can't pinpoint it, we can't define it, we can't put it in a box, we can't label it, we can't see it. None of our five senses can access it. It's a sixth sense, it's an inner sense, it's a deep inner knowing, it's a connection. It's something that can't be labeled, described, really identified, and all of our efforts to articulate it and verbalize it fall short. So if something this big and that profound, that powerful, that majestic is unseen and unknowable, what does that say for you and your work? It goes to be the same, right? It goes to show it's going to be the same, whereas it might be a quiet impact, but it might very well be the biggest and most profound impact that can be made. So card pile 2, that is your reading. If this resonates for you, I encourage you to like, to subscribe. I do want to do a quick summary for you. I've been trying to do that for my readings, so let me back up for just a moment. So your talent, your genius, your particular set of skills is this maternal energy, this divine feminine energy, this divine feminine healing, awakening. You support people by holding space for them, whether they know it or not, whether you know it or not. They're able to grow, to transmute, to transform, to mature right before your eyes, but in this, just being in your space. Just like a mother as a parent to her children, the parents just naturally grow and unfold and unfurl. This is what you provide for people. You support them to heal, to integrate, to come into greater wholeness and awareness of themselves, discovery of themselves. You're being asked here in this reading, for those of you that have joined me today, to recognize the quiet impact of your work, and that it is quite similar to the level of impact that spirit might have, even though it is quiet and invisible. And that if you find that at any point in time you need to recharge, or you're looking for a teacher, you need support, you're going to find that in nature and or with spirit itself, and your own spiritual connection and relationship, and that you are a part of the change in this planet, this transformation that is underway to bring forth a divine feminine awakening, a balancing of the scales, and just the energy you embody is doing that, and as well as any work that you decide to do thereafter. So again, thank you, card pile 2. Press the bell icon, that way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me and my work, of course, you can check out the details below as always, or visit erritygreen.com to see how I might support you. I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs in life and business. And I have a new YouTube channel out. It's called Psychic True Crime. If that kind of thing tickles your fancy, I'm not sure what for card pile 2, but maybe. I'm a Cancer moon, so I got you. You can check out those details below, or just below, because it's actually not at erritygreen.com. Thank you, card pile 2. Okay, so card pile 3, we're talking your talent, your genius, your particular set of skills. So very clearly here, there's a couple things that are coming through right off the bat. And I feel like you are meant to be a leader of some kind. So a modern day leader could be a celebrity, a musician, an artist, a creative, an entrepreneur, someone who speaks truth, shares truth, someone who inspires, someone who creates and shares their art, someone with a message, someone who has something to say, something who has important wisdom to share. So you might be someone who's sharing wisdom. I see someone who is, again, creating, expressing. There's so many different forms of this. In fact, I had to take a moment before reading this pile because it just felt so big and I wasn't sure how to give voice to it, because it just felt like there were many different forms, paths, and expressions of this. But the many things that are coming up, I've already given plenty of examples as it is, but I feel like someone who could be sharing their wisdom, their knowings, their teachings online, through books, through blogging, through video, multimedia. I feel people, these are like influencers, these are like spiritual gurus and guides, and of course, all with integrity. I'm getting all integrity here in this pile. People who share ceremony with people who study with indigenous tribes and cultures, people who are bringing medicine, plant medicine, holistic health to people who are bringing ancient rites and rituals to people, and of course, all with integrity. Because when I share this, and because it feels so big, and because there are many paths here, of course, that conversation of cultural appropriation can come up. And, my personal connection with that and what I have come up with so far on my path, and I'm always willing to learn and evolve, but that if we are given the information, the wisdom, the rights, the teachings from the culture of origin with permission and from exchange, and because it's been handed to us because they want it to be shared, they want it to be known, they want it to be realized at a global level, then if you do all that you're meant to do, like if you're doing everything with integrity, when you learn and when you are receiving this knowledge and receiving this wisdom and receiving whatever these rites and rituals and passages are and all of that stuff, if you're doing all of that with integrity, and then of course they're giving it to you with permission, which would imply integrity here in the whole process, then all is well. There's nothing wrong with that. And I just wanted to share that offshoot message because I think it's important. It is a conversation that is happening quite regularly, because I even feel in this pile, I'm feeling yoga teachers, I'm feeling people who do crystal bowl healing and crystal sound healing, I'm feeling sound healers, I'm feeling crystal medicine, I feel kind of like the vibe of witches, and again, that holistic medicine in your kitchen, brewing up herbs and so on and so forth. So there are many ways that you might be serving this role and fulfilling this passion, fulfilling this dream, fulfilling this mission. You're right on path. That's one of the very first things that wants to come through for card pile 3. You're right on path. So if any of you were concerned or thinking that perhaps you weren't in alignment, or wasn't right for you, or this isn't the thing, or isn't the way, or you were confused, please know that you are right on path. You're right where you are meant to be. You are meant to be this sort of portal or vessel for this ancient wisdom to be shared, for these teachings to be shared, to be this sort of portal or inspiration for awakening for the masses. I do feel like for many of you in card pile 3, that you're able to touch many lives. This doesn't mean that all of you are touching many lives right now, but I feel like the potential for reach is very big, if not eventually global, for those of you that desire it. I feel like a lot of you that could be online, again, with books, blogs, things like that, where you are on social media and you're able to share there. And there's this message of trusting what's coming through for you, trusting your creative expression, trusting your art. Because here's the thing, there's this message of you're sharing your books, you're sharing your blogs, you're sharing your recipes, you're sharing your heart, you're doing the thing, you're sharing your story, you're sharing your journey. This is your life's work. And one way or another, right, you're just sharing, maybe you're making your teas and for your neighbor, and it might feel so little to you, right? It might feel so little or small or not impactful or not valuable. Or for some of you, I feel like you're wondering, well, what's the point, right? 2 people saw this blog, 6 people saw this video. Please know all of this is like a package deal. It's not like, oh, this got a like here and this got a like there. There's this whole package deal. It's like everything counts because it's all coming from you, and you were supposed to be doing it all. It's like your creative expression matters, your creative expression counts no matter what. And again, it's all this package deal. I wish I had a better word to describe it or a better way to articulate it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's like why are you looking at it piecemeal? Don't look at it piecemeal. Like, you're looking at it like, oh, this piece of the puzzle, well, that's a kind of silly piece of the puzzle. Or like, this piece of the puzzle, well, that's like a funny shape. Or like, that's a funny picture. Like, look at the whole picture of all the things, of the blog that gets maybe this many hits, and the recipe that gets this many hits, and the yoga class that gets this many attendees, and the video that gets this. It's like, it's all part and parcel of this entire journey of your life's work. It's all one thing. You know, to try to piece it apart and pull it apart and say, oh, it's only this, or this only gets that. That's not what this is about. And Spirit wants you to ask you to get your head, not out of your ass, but like, your head's in the gutter. Like, that's not even in the right place. Like, you're not even focusing on the right things. Focus on your life's work. Focus on your life's mission. Focus on your life path. Trust the timing. Trust the unfolding. Card pile 3. This is supposed to be a reading on your talent, your genius, and your particular skill set. We're getting that, right? A little bit. We're getting that, but we're especially getting a message for you. So I feel like if you chose card pile 3, this is what you came here for, my friend. Whether or not either me or you knew it, this is what you came here for, to hear this, because you're trusting the timing, or you have doubts, or again, you're trusting, you know, is this a talent, a genius, a skill set, number one? Or you're saying, you know, where's the accolades, or where's the things, or, you know, well, sometimes you second guess it or doubt it because, again, you're not getting the engagement. You're feeling like you're not getting the payoff or the return or whatever. And again, this is a whole package deal. This is your life's work. There's this message of, this is your commitment, you know, your vow, so to speak, your mission. You're doing it no matter what, right? Like, that's the message. Are you going to do it no matter what? That's the first question, actually. And if your answer is no, perhaps this isn't right for you. But what's funny, as soon as I say this, I know you're all gonna be like, no. I know for sure this is my soul's path. This is for sure what I want to do. Like, I know it, and I would do it. You know, it's hard for me to even recognize that. Like, you might be saying to yourself, like, oh shoot, would I do it no matter what? Because then you have to imply that no matter what, you would do it. But it's like, that's what you said, right? That's your soul's mission, your soul's contract. Like, this is what you came here for. I feel like you're a teacher, you're a visionary, you're creative, you're an entrepreneur, you're out there, you're sharing wisdom, you're making change. Your creative expression, your authentic expression is moving the needle. That's what you came here to do, to be you and to be all of you, to do and be and share you, because your fullest expression, your authentic expression, your self-actualization is doing what it needs to do. Like, it's just a matter of authentically expressing and fully expressing yourself and coming into greater and greater expansive self-actualization. That's it. It's not about, you don't have to think about the change that you're making or the impact that you're making, or, you know, whether or not it's this or that, or how can I see the value, what does it actually do, what are the results. Like, if you ask yourself any of these questions or ever get in your head about it, first of all, you're being asked to focus on, again, return to just self-expression, return to your creative work, return to your focus, right? Return to what you love to do, what makes you feel good, what makes you shine, what you're passionate about. Again, continue to come back to that when your mind comes in with all these questions, reservations, doubts. It's like just returning to the North Star, you know, your truth, which is, for you, it's going to be focusing on your fullest expression, your self-actualization. That will do everything it needs to do. And again, trying to part and parcel it out and piecemeal it out instead of just looking at the whole puzzle, trying to do that, honestly, it's futile, or futile, however you pronounce that. That's really just a derailment for you and a detour that's a waste of your mental, emotional energy. Focus on what does bring you energy, what does energize you. Those are the kinds of activities that you're going to choose, that you're going to spend your day engaged with. And card pile 3, we have multiple cards here about you having to let go of your mind. Like, take a look at this. Look how it's holding you back. The burden, the dictator, the inner critic, the doubt, the saboteur. No, you're on the wrong path. No, you aren't valuable enough. No, it didn't get enough likes. No, you're not doing it right. No, you're wrong. No, it's bad. You know, whatever version that you have. But you have an inner dictator, an inner critic, an inner saboteur that can be very self-defeating, if not self-destructive, and it can throw you off path quite easily. So you want to be aware of that. You want to be, and not that you're ever off path, but it's like, it doesn't make you feel good and you don't love it. And you get unfocused on what you're here to do and share, which is your authentic expression, your creative work, your healing work. Instead of focusing on that, you spend a lot of time in your head basically arguing with yourself or in inner conflict. And that's not where you're meant to spend your time. That's not where you're meant to spend your energy. And it's not at all what you came here for. And it's completely it's a total detour. It's a what's the term where a decoy. It's a decoy. It's not even real. This is just, your ego throwing you off path, and or a reflection of your insecurity, your own self-doubt. It's throwing you off path, and none of it's real or true. So that's number one, being aware of that. And sorry, you guys, I keep on moving, but both my feet keep falling asleep. That's been happening a lot lately. It never did before. I used to be comfortable on my yoga mat. So I don't know if it's because I'm doing more readings in the same position or what, but forgive me for nonstop moving so far. But again, there's this message here, look, it even says schizophrenia down here, of just trying to make sense of it all, right? Trying to make sense of it, trying to figure it out. Who am I, and what do I do, and what am I here for, and does it even matter, and this is all stupid, throw it in the trash. I mean, pick your flavor. Those things that I'm saying are just examples and of a similar frequency. Like all these examples that I always give, I'm just trying to contact the frequency of what's coming through. So yours might be different. It might manifest in a different way, take form in a different way, or sound a different way, but in one way or another, it's that mental commentary, the garbage that's lying to you and telling you it's not worth it, telling you you're not on path, whatever it is, right? And that's not to be trusted. It's a level of mental illness, whether or not you consider it mental illness, or it feels at that level, or you've been diagnosed, or gotten the support. Of course, if you feel like you're at the level of mental illness and you feel like you need to be diagnosed, please get the support that you need. It's not going to come from a YouTube video, but for most of you, you're at the level of where your mind can just take the reins and off you go, runaway train. And spirit wants you to know that, like, it's just such a invaluable, or such a meaningless or worthless expenditure of your energy. And it's offered lovingly. It's not like, it's like there's no judgment here. It's just like you can spend your time just creating and sharing and expressing yourself. That's what you're here to do. Teach, share, be yourself, share your creative expression, so on and so forth, and find whatever form that you want. You get to pick, you get to choose. It gets to look like the way that you want, because again, for card pile 3 specifically, this is based on your passions, what makes you come alive, your self-expression, your creative expression, your art, your craft, your wisdom, what you want to do, how you want to teach, how you want to share. There's so many different forms that we gave earlier. And so you're meant to do this, and yet for whatever reason right now, like, this is your talent, your genius, your skill set. I think you already know. You must be at least some, like, ish well established, or I feel some of you are at the beginning, but I feel like it would be talking a lot more about your talent and your genius and your skill set if you needed to know that. So I feel like you already know that. You have that down pat. Anything that tells you otherwise is this mental shadow, or this inner demon, or this inner critic, or this inner saboteur. Let's see what else wants to come through, though. Again, trying to figure it out, getting into your mind to solve a problem, making it all a problem. It's just your mind trying to come up with another problem to solve. Again, is this a valuable expenditure of your time and energy when you could just be living life and enjoying yourself and sharing your process? Your creative process is your art. Your life is your art. We see a lot of that with lifestyle blogging and stuff having become pretty big, 10, 15, 20 years ago or whatever. Not as much maybe anymore, but where people just live their lives and they shared their lives and they became influencers, spiritual gurus even. So a lot of this is just living your life, being true to you, sharing this, and it becomes something that really connects with people, and people begin to follow you, and you might even amass a movement or amass change. Again, a lot of you are going to use this as your avenue for creating money, for creating a livelihood, for doing your work in the world. Many of you are going to be able to do this online. If you aren't there yet, please know that that is a possibility for you. Many of you are meant to have some level of fame, whether that's global fame, like a celebrity, or small-time fame, social media celebrity. It depends on your path, depends on you, depends on how much you listen to your mind, all this stuff. But it's like, this is what you're here to do. You're here to inspire, you're here to influence, and you're here to be you, and through that you inspire and influence. That's what you're here to do. And one of the main platforms for doing that now, of course, is online, through online presence, through social media. And so I imagine many of you will be doing that, but I do see also writing. So for some of you, that's going to be books. For some of you, it's going to be in-person events, stages, ceremony, ritual, circles, bringing people together. So there's many forms this can take. And your big thing is freeing yourself. So what the number one thing you need to remember and what you're working on right now. And if you're not working on this, Spirit's asking you to focus on that. It's freeing yourself from the bondage. It's personal bondage. It's holding yourself back. It's limiting yourself. It's telling yourself lies, telling you you're not good enough, or that it isn't enough, or that the results you get aren't enough. Again, it's the part of you that's telling you it's wrong, or something's awry, or something isn't right, or something is off, or something is unaligned, whatever. It's not working. I have to solve it. I have to fix it. I mean, like none of this is like, first of all, it's not accurate. Spirit's asking you to release this. These are reflections of the past, of wounding, of limitation. Sometimes I get a very clear awareness around what the wound, like the core wound is, or maybe even a past life thing or childhood origins. If you're feeling like you need to dive into this and do more inner work, healing work, shadow work, inner child work, please do look at my other videos to give you a start. You might also want to find a support system to guide you through that. Some of this work I also do. Some of this work I have amazing practitioners and teachers and mentors that I work with. You can reach out for those things, but my channel can get you started. For here, I'm not even getting a particular message or flavor around the wound, around the pattern. It's very much just like, it's like not even worth your time anymore. Like, move on. You know, it doesn't have that move on. Like, move on kind of has a judgment or connotation with it. It's just like, this is freeing yourself, liberating yourself from this. You know, that's a reel that doesn't have to play and replay and replay and replay. Get focused on your life's work. Get focused on your path. If all this stuff comes up, hungry ghost, right? Oh, you label it more BS. You label it, oh, it's trying to solve a problem again. Oh, that's doubt. Label it, redirect your focus, and get moving. If you need the support and you feel like it's deeper, ingrained, and embedded to such a degree that it feels impossible to overcome, you might reach out to energy practitioners, shamanic practitioners, someone who might be able to support you to clear this at the energetic level, the deeper level. But for many of you, Spirit's saying is if you just focused on the right things, aka the right things, meaning yourself, your passion, what makes you come alive, your joys, your bliss, what lights you up, given, you know, if you give yourself permission to feel that way, because some of y'all, you know, you're feeling good and then your mind comes in and then now you're feeling bad again and you're like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't light me up. No, that was your mind that did that. You know, that's not the truth. So you're really, this is about ultimately like contacting the ultimate truth and freeing yourself from any lies, falsehoods, patterns, especially as of those that are born from the mind. Let's see what else here. Yeah, because again, you're here to be, as part of your work, you know, what Spirit wants you to know is you're here to help lay out the divine plan, to help bring about the greater changes that are to come. You might not see yourself take something from like A to Z, like you might not see a new earth in your lifetime, like as an example, like you might not be living in some, you know, jungle, you know, whatever village and with all your like-minded buddies and stuff. You might not see a lot of this come to pass, but you're here as a seed. You know, you're being planted, and everything that you're doing is catalyzing the right things and igniting the right things so that all of these changes can come about. I feel like your energy is very much about the masses, reaching the masses of people. And the more that you awaken and free yourself from your own patterns, darkness, shadows, demons, inner conflicts, the war that you wage with your mind, and so on and so forth, the more that you're then able to share that liberation work with other people where they aren't as bound and held to that, right? Where we're familiar with the devil card and the tarot, where the people, they're handcuffed to the devil, but they have the key the whole time. They're not stuck there. They just think that they are. And so this is about freeing yourself again and again and again and again, and just sharing your life and your process and your journey with the world. And that's going to be through writing or through whatever creative expression, even through your yoga teaching, whatever you do, whatever you experience, whatever healing work that happens with you, for you, is automatically going to be transmitted through the next blog or what you verbalize, or even a conversation or exchange or interaction with a friend, right? Because you're now embodying that change, so people can't help but contact that within you because you have been transformed yourself. And so it's going to come out in your writing, even if you don't intend it to. It's going to come out in your romantic relationships and in your sex and in your art and all the things that you do and the way that you breathe and the way that you carry yourself and your health and your impact, your longevity, and in your home. So it's like, it's not any one thing. You might even have been trying to nail it down to one thing. For you, it's all about creative expression, your fullest expression, your self-actualization, bringing all parts of you on board and online, and allowing that journey to be seen, allowing that journey to be shared, and finding a way to express yourself, choosing your platform, choosing the ways in which you like to express yourself, and then just doing that again and again and again, and letting that journey be shared. Because what it's going to be doing with an online platform like a social media presence, reaching that many people, is you're able to then awaken more people. And it might be just planting a seed, it might just be watering a plant, it might be just bringing about a seedling, but you are supporting the masses to awaken just by being you. So if you were ever confused, or you ever had any questions, or you didn't know what you were here to do, and you didn't know what to call yourself, or you didn't know if you're going to write a book or a blog or this or that, and which one's the right path, which one's the most aligned path, it doesn't matter. This was always about you being and doing you, showing up in your aliveness and your passion. That's your talent, that's your genius, is to be you, your fullest expression, your fullest actualization, and to continue to release yourself from any bondage that holds you back from experiencing that full potential, that full expression, that full actualization. Anything that's in the way of that full potential, that full vision, that full actualization is a limit, is a lie that's meant to be released. Anything that's in the way of your fullest expression, whatever that is for you, however you define it, you know what your fullest expression is. But your fullest expression for many of you is to be kind of on the world stage in front of a global audience, if not a large audience, to be sharing your life's process, your life's journey, and everything that comes up on that path and on that journey with the world. So if there's anything in the way of that, even in the fullest potential of it, meaning even being, for many of you, famous, rich and famous, anything in the way of that is not only derivative of your mind, but a reflection of your history, of your past, of something that is effectively holding you back and is just considered a limit. Pile 3, Spirit doesn't want you focusing on necessarily all of your wounds or getting lost in that, although some of that work will be required on the path in order to liberate yourself, of course, but not to sit in your own shit and sit there forever trying to heal and fix and improve. That is not what your journey is in. Your journey isn't even like hugely about shadow work. It's shadow work as necessary and relevant for your liberation work, or for your fullest potential, fullest expression, fullest actualization. It's way more about that and stepping into the world stage, stepping in to be seen, to this presence, to be able to share yourself with the world. Is way more about that than any of this other stuff. So you're finding that you're sort of lost in doubt or stagnation, or doing a lot of shadow work, or constantly healing or whatever. That isn't necessarily the most aligned path for you. It's not that it won't serve you, but you're meant to be out here. You're meant to be sharing, showing yourself, being seen. You're meant to be being seen, and that's where your impact is. That's where your soul work is. That's where your mission is. That's where your genius, talent, and skill set is. You're meant to help bring about world change, individual change, but at the level of through your creative expression, your authentic self, and through the sharing of yourself and your life's journey. So card pile 3, that is your reading. If this lands for you, resonates for you, if you liked it, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive a notification every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me and my work, you can check out my details below, or at erritygreen.com, where I offer both personal readings as well as coaching programs to support you in your life and business. And if you do like to have a little bit of fun, you can check out my other YouTube channel that I just started called Psychic True Crime, and we can be friends in both places. All right, card pile 3. Until next time, thank you. All right, card pile 4. Your talent and genius, your particular set of skills. Okay, so I feel like you are someone who has sort of this playful innocence or childlike spirit, or doesn't take life too seriously. You might be someone who's fun, funny, engaging. You might have a really awesome sense of humor. You could be considered to be gregarious or extroverted, or someone who's the life of the party, maybe even adventure or thrill seeker, someone who will take life by the seat of the pants. Is that a saying? Something like that. Grab the bull by the horns. You're going to do it, and you're going to have fun while doing it. You might be one of those people. You don't have to be one of those people who likes all of these things, but someone who likes jumping out of planes or waterfalls. You might be someone who travels and just lives life and lives it well. You might be someone who a lot of people know your name and celebrate you and know you well. You just feel like someone who's sociable, and whether or not you're sociable, because I feel like some of you are going to be like, oh, well, that's not me, but if you're someone who has a sense of humor, who's gregarious, who has this childlike innocence, playful, fun, who lives life well, it's that kind of energy of someone who is out there living large, doing the thing, loving life, living well. I know I already said that a bunch. That's the kind of energy. It's even like that energy, like the Fool in the tarot. So if you're familiar with the Fool in the tarot, it's like sort of like that naive innocence and optimism, and just goes out there, is willing to trust, is willing to try anything once. Doesn't take life too seriously. Life doesn't weigh so heavy, and that could even be. It reminds me again, it could be adventure seeker, thrill seeker, but even someone who lives kind of, we'll say superficially. It doesn't mean that you don't have depth, but that, again, nothing's weighing too heavy. You're not taking it too seriously to where it like weighs you down, holds you back. But superficially could also be the kind of person who seeks success and focuses on success, or surrounding yourself with successful people, and kind of has the energy of like dinner parties and New Year's Eve parties, and some of that luxury or extravagance or private planes and things like that too. So I get a lot of that energy here. I am curious to see, so at least one of your talents and genius or skill sets is like that optimism, enthusiasm, exuberance, gregariousness, comedy, sense of humor, entertainment, life of the party, lots of fun, conversationalist, someone who always has a conversation or always knows just what to say or has something to say, someone who can talk about a lot of different topics, and like if you bring anything to them, they can have something to say about it, and they might even be well educated or informed on it. Like you have something to say. It's not going to just be like a whatever. Now, some of you though, as soon as I say that, I'm like, well, some of you might not give a hoot, but I feel like many of you, you're actually well versed in a lot of different topics and a lot of different things, and could have an intelligent conversation on many topics. But you still have this air of innocence and playfulness and joy and fun and comedy and entertainment to it all. I feel like, again, you don't feel too jaded or bitter or resentful, and it's like, well, how is that even like a gift, or how is that a talent or a genius? I'm just not jaded. And it's like, well, actually that's quite a gift in the human condition, to be unjaded, to be unbitter, just someone who's still enjoying life, someone who's still lighthearted and has a zest and a vitality to them, someone who's playful and adventurous. Like there's this gal I follow online, you can follow her too, Sarah Sophia Eisenman. She might go by something else now. I think it's a different middle name, but she went by that for many years. She has, I don't know, tens of thousands of followers. And what I love about her, as mature and wise and articulate as she is, most of her videos and most of what she does are her just dancing around with her doves and with her children, belly dancing, or just playing and just being silly and living her life, okay? And yet she has amassed tens of thousands of followers, and it's because of all of the things that she is. But one of them is this kind of free-spirited, carefree, having fun, living her joy kind of bliss that I think is very, very rare in this world. And oftentimes, it's interesting because the Fool in the tarot, the Fool energy isn't just at the beginning of a journey, right? So the Fool's journey in the tarot actually takes you through how they start out as the Fool, like we all do. We start out as like this innocent, playful, unjaded child, and then we grow through all of these stages and seasons and this great development of maturation in our lives, where there's darkness at times, right? And there's temptation, like the devil, and then there's the hermit, where we're alone in isolation, our self-discovery period, and then we get to know tradition and education and all the formality, and then we might set that aside for our authentic expression, and we learn that we can create, make a choice for ourselves, the magician, on, right? And that's not in chronological order. If you want to look it up, there are ways to research that on Google and or books about it, the Fool's Journey or the Fool's Journey in the Tarot, and it'll explain some of this. But my point is, the Fool's energy obviously is the beginning of any journey. Humans, human children, we all start out that way. Even when we start a business or start a career, we start out as the Fool energy, optimism, naive, zest, we're ready, we're passionate, we're ready to make change in the world. And pretty soon after, what sets in? Disillusionment. We're like, oh my gosh, this is way harder. I'm getting way less paid than I thought. Or this isn't as easy as I expected. Or we hit, trial upon trial or challenge upon challenge, and in our lives, to where we go through these deep healing, soul excavation, self-discovery, self-inquiry kinds of healing seasons of our lives, where over time, after we let some things go, a lot of unlearning and untethering and releasing and so on and so forth. After all this work, this time of being the hermit and this time of being all this and that, right. We kind of travel through all these different seasons of life. We actually find, after all of that deep work and soul diving and excavation, all that seriousness and sacredness and whatever, that life becomes easy again, right? Easygoing, it's playful, joy, blissful, it's lighthearted. We've let go of a lot of the things that we used to take seriously. We've let go of a lot of the trials and tribulations that maybe we held for a long period of time. You know, wisdom and truth isn't maybe as earnest and like deep and serious and sincere as maybe we think that it is or expect it to be. A lot of times wisdom is joyful and lighthearted and easygoing and playful, and that's what I meant and was sharing too about Sarah Sophia Eisenman, where whether you find yourself at the beginning of your journey or if this is just something that you've carried with you, this youthful zest and vitality over the years, and you've just never been one to be held down or held back or downtrodden or low for too long, or if you're someone who's kind of been on the path for a long time and you've done the work and you've crossed the bridges and you've worked through the hero or heroine's journey, and now you're just living your joy and you're living your bliss and you're experiencing what is true for you and you're just enjoying all that life has to offer. That in and of itself is a talent, is a gift, is a genius. And so whether you find yourself at the beginning of the journey or the end, which is also of course always a new beginning as well, it's still that energy of dawn, of a new era, of a new day, of innocence, playful joy, vitality, bliss, so on and so forth. So that is a talent and genius of yours, an energy that you carry and embody and even bestow on the people around you. You become inspiring because people want that aliveness. They want that lightheartedness. They want that joy. They want to be around someone that energizes them. They want to be around someone that lightens the mood, lightens the day, keeps things light, easy, fun, and fancy free. I am a Capricorn. That's usually not me. So I seek out the people who kind of are like this, although I can be that too. I can be very enthusiastic and maybe obscenely so and annoyingly so, but I also have a nice earthy tone to me as well. But my point is, everybody loves the people who embody this kind of trait. So when you're listening, you're like, oh, well, that's kind of like, we're all going to take our gifts for granted, and so you might be someone who does that too. But this is actually a true and authentic gift. This is probably one of the greater gifts, actually. And I find it interesting because I feel like if you were to listen to all 4 card piles, which that would be a long listening to, so I don't know that many people would do it, but I feel like it kind of takes you through like a little bit of a journey or a fool's journey where it's chronological, how you might, and the soul's path, even if it's not one lifetime, but many lifetimes, how you kind of walk the path of the warrior, card pile 1. Card pile 2, you deepen into more of your feminine energy, your yin energy, motherly energy. You get to know the emotional realm, the emotional side, the healing side, your intuitive gifts and spirituality. And then you step into more of your full, whole, authentic expression, coming into your greater actualization, your wholeness, maybe becoming a guide or a teacher, inspiration for others. And then you come to this point in your journey, card pile 4, where you're like, I'm done with all that. Like, if all that's a part of the journey, a piece of the journey, a parcel of the journey, excellent. But I'm just living my joy, and life is beautiful, and life is good, and life is wonderful, and I'm just going to be here now, and I'm going to enjoy it. And that's a gift, and that's something that you embody, and you embody well. Okay, now for some of you, it's so interesting because a lot of my card piles, we tell you your gift and your genius, and then the advice comes right through. Bada bing, bada boom. You're getting the advice right off the bat. Some of you have been perhaps jaded and bitter and resentful, ironically. This isn't going to be the case for all of you, but I do have at least a good majority of you that this is going to be relevant for, where maybe you feel like your innocence has been stolen. Maybe you feel like your joy has been taken. Maybe you feel like life's been so hard or arduous or challenging or difficult, and you've gotten hit one too many times that you can no longer find this spirit within you. You can no longer find this joy. You can no longer find this bliss. It's no longer a part of who you are. And what you're being assured of is it's still a part of you. It can be returned to. And ultimately, it's you holding it back from yourself. Take a look at this. It's you holding it back from yourself. You have all of the jewels. You have this vitality. You have this access to bliss and to joy and to awe and wonder in everyday life. In everyday life, you have access to this level of joy, but it's going to be up to you to return to it, to give yourself permission to experience it. You're being asked to leave the past behind. Anything that has held you back, anything that has made you feel chained or imprisoned or downtrodden, anything that has felt limiting or restrictive, you're being asked to release it. And some of you are going to say, well, I can't because XYZ. I can't because this is still happening. I can't because this is still going on, right? I can't because I'm still in a job that sucks. I can't because my ex is still fighting for custody. I can't because I haven't gotten a better job or gotten my degree or gotten that promotion, blah, 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 right? We all have those excuses. You know, it doesn't mean they aren't real, but they are still limits to our ultimate potential. And it's up to us to decide to, again, even if we can't release it physically, we can release it mentally. It doesn't have to limit us. It doesn't have to limit our joy. It doesn't have to limit what we're capable of experiencing in our everyday life. And some of you are going to say, well, trauma is real and that we don't get a choice. And that's true. You know, I've been there, so I know. And PTSD is very difficult. And I know that all the other ones are difficult too. And it's like, hey, the human condition is tough cookie stuff. So I get it. But here's the thing, at the end of the day, regardless of whatever it is that holds you back, steals your joy, or steals from your light, whatever that is, you have the choice to free yourself and to return to this place of aliveness, of spirit, of joy, of wonder, of innocence. It's up to you to return to that. Because, first of all, no one can ever give it to you. It doesn't matter who comes into your life, how much joy enters your life, what opportunity. It doesn't matter. God himself could show up, or herself could show up into your living room. And if you aren't ready to receive it, you are going to say sayonara. Okay? So we have to be the ones to give ourselves permission to receive it, to return to it, to reconcile with it. Some of you, I feel like, are still holding on to old pain. Some of you are holding on to shame. Some of you are holding on to self-punishment. Some of you believe that just because your circumstances are difficult, that means that your attitude, your mood, your vibration, your daily experience has to be downtrodden and difficult, and that's not true. You can release that mentally, free yourself from that, and live alive and to the fullest now. Actually, that's what it is, card pile 4. It's living life to the fullest. And it doesn't mean that you're like balls to the wall every day. It could just be, again, that light, that bliss, that joy, that wonder. Living life to the fullest is available to you now, regardless of your circumstances, regardless of what you're holding on to. But it is going to be up to you to release yourself from those shackles and let yourself experience this innocence that is a part of you. Because card pile 4, if you chose it, one of two things. Either this is your gift and talent and you already knew that and you now feel separated from it, distanced from it, detached from it in some way, which is why this is coming through. And or it's been a long time, if ever, that you have felt this joy, aliveness, blissful, vitality, zest for life, passion, innocence. And you don't even know or remember when you last felt it. And so then you're listening to me and you're like, this bitch is crazy wrong, you know, complete opposite. But then that's why this advice then comes through and says, ultimately it's going to be up to you to give yourself permission to reclaim your innocence, to reconcile with your innocence. You're the one that is holding it back from yourself. Will you give yourself permission to reconcile with it and return to innocence? That's going to be up to you. Yeah. Look at this. You get to just enjoy your life. You get to take a break. It gets to be easy. It gets to be fun. It gets to be lighthearted. It gets to be playful. But you're going to be the one who has to decide that. We already know that because it was her holding her own jewels back. It was her. No one else has their hands in those jewels. I'm talking about the picture that I showed if you're listening via the audio. There was a woman. She's holding the jewels and she's like a miser. She's holding it all back, but she's holding it from herself. There's no thief here stealing it from her in the night. This is herself stealing it from herself. Then we have this beautiful picture of someone just gazing underneath the stars in total awe, joy, and wonder at the richness of this life, the abundance of this life, just what life is. Like, oh my gosh, how amazing is it to just be alive, to breathe, to feel, to be here. Whoa. All of you have had those moments. Most of us have. You know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, know that it's possible, available for you. Check Sarah Sophia Eisenman out, all right? She's living it every day, literally dancing with doves, all right? And I love that, literally living her bliss. Like who does that? I love that she does, and that's why I'm talking about it, because it's very rare that we see people just living their vitality, living their joy, living their bliss with abandon. And then you have here obviously this take a break card, but it's really about you giving yourself a break, you taking a load off, you letting this baggage go, you letting anything that's in the way of your innocence go, anything in the way of your joy go, that you get to follow your awe, your wonder, your joy, your bliss. What makes you come alive? What makes you feel passionate? That's what you're meant to be moving toward, always embodying. Your everyday life should be things that bring you joy, and the things that even that are required for your joy are still joyous. So a lot of people say, yeah, but I don't like doing the dishes and cooking dinner and all that stuff, but that's required to live a life of joy, right? For you to live on planet Earth right now at this time, to breathe air, to raise kids if you have kids, if you don't, that's fine too, but to go to work and clock in, all these things, for us to live a life of joy, which includes all the wonderful things that each of us love doing, it requires right now a roof over our heads, it requires paying the bills and the rent, and it requires doing the dishes and so on and so forth. So all these things that we tend to say we don't like, chopping wood, carrying water, first of all, that too is joyful when we find that within ourselves. Eventually find that fulfillment regardless of what the conditions or circumstances are. It all kind of feels the same. But that's required for the life of joy. I work with a lot of clients, and they don't like the emails, they don't like the back end stuff, all the administration of work and business. And I found myself here and there, I get into that place, but very rarely now, because it's just in the momentum of the everyday, of all the things that serve my living a life of joy. If I get to have my own business and I get to be on here doing readings, things that I love, and sharing personal readings and coaching work and all these things that I love, sharing my passions every single day like a Sarah Sophia Eisenman, okay? If I get to live this life, then if doing the dishes is required, so be it. If taking my dog is out, so be it. It doesn't mean we don't have bad days or hard days or sick days. That's okay. Not judging yourself here. I'm saying that this is what's required for a life of joy, so it's all joy. It's all in service to the same thing. And you get to live joyously. You get to live in a state of innocence. You can return to this playful, innocent spirit that I feel like you might yearn for or crave and not allow it within yourself, and or it's been stolen by either circumstances, trauma, what you feel like is another person, so on and so forth. But the message that very clearly wants to come through from Spirit is that it is and always was up to you to return this to yourself. You can give yourself permission to bring this part of you back. And in fact, it's a part of your talent and your genius and your superpower. It's to be in this state, to enjoy this. Because this reading is your talent and genius, what you're meant to do and share with the world. Okay? And for some of you, and then I was going to say, your particular set of skills or whatever. So it's what you're meant to do and share in the world. You are meant to follow your bliss. You're meant to share, you're meant to be in your passions and live your passions and live your joy. So to whatever degree that you're not, that tells you where perhaps there's a lack of alignment, or the most ideal alignment you could have. We're always in alignment. You can't be off path with your own soul. But in terms of we wonder why outcomes maybe aren't happening in our lives, it might be because we're not living our joy, living our bliss, truly living and being and doing what makes us come alive. So card pile 4, your talent, your genius, what you're meant to do and share is to feel alive, to live your bliss, to live your passions, to live your joy, to choose things that you love and that excite you, surroundings and people and environments that you love, that energize you, that bring you vitality. And you're meant to live that, to do that, not things that make you feel low or heavy or too serious or tired or draining. They're meant to be things that make you come alive. And if for some reason, for those in card pile 4, if I said card pile 3, excuse me, if for those in card pile 4 who can't access this, don't feel this, or think I'm crazy, like what is she even talking about? That's not me at all. Then it's because it's been stolen, and or you have chosen to give your power away, and it's now time to return these jewels to the rightful owner, which is and always was you. So card pile 4, if this resonates, if you enjoyed this reading, I encourage you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, check out the details below, as always, or erritygreen.com. I do offer personal sessions as well as coaching programs. And if you want to check out my new YouTube channel, that can be a lot of fun. It's Psychic True Crime. You can check out that link below, and I'll see you over there and over here. All right. Thank you, card pile 4.